Finally, this is a watch that I've been looking for since I bought a used SKX013 last August. The Seiko SKX015, the medium diver with a blue dial and a Pepsi bezel, a smaller version of the SKX009, and this one is in a far better condition than the one I showed you on my last video about the SKX015. Let's just get straight to it. So this watch has a legitimate blue hue to it, much clearer, and I'll quickly show you the previous one that I had, a clip right here. This one has a cleaner dial, and the inside minute track also has a blue hue to it. This is just amazing. I thought this watch only existed on Instagram because that is the only place where I saw these SKX015 watches. Now for some of you who already caught it, yes, the bezel insert is unfortunately not the original one. It is from a 4205 Pepsi bezel. The 4205 diver is a small diver which is similar to this one. The one that gave it away is the loom pip, which is much wider, deeper, and flatter. Let's get an SKX013 here to compare. This is an SKX013, and you can see it is really obvious. So the loom pip is supposed to be like this, much smaller. On this one, it's wider, flatter. So if you've spotted it already, yeah, you have a good eye. This is a 4205 bezel. The best option that I had in terms of bezel was the 4205, which is definitely more common, or a sapphire insert from LCBI. I considered the ceramic Pepsi insert too, but I didn't like the color tone of the ceramic Pepsi insert. While if you look at a sapphire insert, though it will crack if not carefully worn, it looks more true to the color tone of the original. I'll put a picture here of Long Island watches, and they have a watch identical to the SKX015, arguably with better movement and a sapphire crystal and sapphire insert. As you can see, it looks really good if it has the sapphire insert versus the ceramic one. But the sapphire insert from LCBI just cost a lot. $60 for it is not cheap. I would have still gone for it though if I never found one, but lucky for us, with a big help from our local watchmaker sourcing out the Pepsi insert, we now have a complete SKX015. Would you consider this a mod since it has a different bezel insert? If yes, then I guess my dream SKX is a mod watch. Okay, so now we can finally compare an SKX009 to the SKX015. And yeah, it is literally a smaller version of it. The obvious difference is the minute track and the size, obviously, but the minute track there on the 3 has a groove similar to the SKX013. I'm just so glad that we can finally see them side to side. So again, the size on this is 37, this one is 42. So this SKX009 is the made in Japan version. This one, I believe, is also made in Japan, but it doesn't have an Arabic day wheel. There is some sort of mystery there, because these watches, as I've said in my previous video, the curious case of the SKX015, we really don't know how many they released and for how long, and that's why it is ultra rare. We're just so lucky to have this still pristine dial. I mean, there's a light patina on the indices, but the orange text is still orange. Yeah, so that is the SKX009 versus the SKX015. Same movement, just a smaller version. Okay, so we finally have a comparison here of the smaller versions versus the bigger versions. So again, this is the 42mm, this is 37, same goes with this one, this is a 42, and this is 37, 38, and man, for so long I only had these 3 watches, and I really never thought about completing it until recently when I made that SKX015 video, and I just had to have it because I think this one is a really nice watch to have, the SKX013. It is versatile, it is an all-around beater at this point, especially in this condition. If you have a newer one, obviously you're going to have to baby it because it's discontinued, but these older ones which are used, you can just wear them whenever. Alright, so I just wanted to share this short video with you guys since I don't really see anyone else reviewing this watch because of how rare it is. There are a lot more SKX watches which are more elusive. There's a whole bunch of lists about them. There's also an orange SKX017. That one is also an anomaly. The Seiko SKX015 is one of the watches that I really wanted to have in the collection. As an avid SKX collector, it is one of the watches that I think completes my personal collection. Obviously there are more watch collectors out there with more SKX watches that only collect SKX watches. But for me, I think this one is my personal pinnacle to the SKX line, since I don't really dream of collecting them all because they are so hard to find nowadays. I've been very cautious about using this watch because I don't want to further damage the dial, the hands, the bezel insert. It is truly rare for a watch like this to come by. Again, I'd like to thank the people, especially my uncle, who helped me sort this out. The hunt is over. Maybe it's time for another watch. I'll see you soon. Stay safe.